Welcome back, everybody, to the COD Rec League. We are back with some silver pre-made East Championship action, and these two teams are already going at it. But first, I'm joined by a celebrity in the COD scene, my dear friend, the Surge Turkey himself. QQ, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. Surge made a roster change. It's been a good week so far, and well, we're hopping right into this best of seven. We got these Maui Chums, Toronto Falters, the top two teams in the Silver Division, going toe to toe to see who will be champions. And well, Toronto, they're starting off hot, looking like they're gonna get a pretty decent time on this P1. He's on that time. They already got 30 seconds on this P1. They also have these rotations with Tragic getting 2 kills, Coast getting another kill as well. So a perfect start for these Toronto players, but Maui, they're across the map looking to pinch this over towards P2.
Yeah, Maui looking to pinch this. It looks like it might come through, except number one goes down on the bottom side of the map. And now, I mean, Maui is just being pieced apart one by one. They are spawning quite close, though, so they will be able to get back into the action very quickly. But Toronto is soaking up a lot of time here. I think they pretty much had it since it popped, and now you're about to hit the halfway. So, I mean, Maui's just kind of fighting for maybe even time here at the end, but I mean, Toronto doing a nice job so far. That number three is going to be in that mid-map area on the north side of the mini-map. You see Maui maybe going over there, trying to scout it out before it pops, but man, they are eating crow at what happened at P number two. It's 80-3. It is a tough hill to climb if you're Maui, but you're going to have to do it if you want to win map one.
Yeah, I mean it's a best of seven. You do have quite a few maps to go through, and we've got quite the array of maps to go through. But you definitely don't want to drop a map one. You definitely don't want to drop it in lopsided fashion. But over here on this P3, Toronto have the positioning. They're gonna try and hold it from this blue side. These Maui Chums players all kind of just backed up towards this back green and this P5 area. But Toronto's on this time. Oryx and Spall is going to pair up for a couple of big kills in the opening. Coast able to find a trade, but the pressure's starting to mount for Maui. They do, a couple players will fall, but Smalls now, he's going to jump on this time. Coast is forced to back up. He will fall, so Maui finally get themselves a break, but the Toronto pressure is still here.
Yeah, the Toronto pressure is still here. I mean, Toronto I mean, they just wipe out Maui from the point again. Maui is still stuck with the same spawns that they had since P2 popped pretty much. But now, if they want to get on the P4, they're going to have to find a way to flip them. And actually, number 5 and Ace is spawning on the other side of the map. So that's a start, but it looks like it splits more than a complete spawn reversal. You have 2 Toronto members onto the new hardpoint, and Maui, they're getting the kills that they need to, at least approaching the building here. But I mean, once you enter the building, all bets are off. 2 for Maui, 1 for Toronto, but you just have Coast Alive on the side of Toronto, who's trying to shoot into the building and is going to be successful thus far. But Maui, they have the spawns and they have a good opportunity now to run up the clock here. Still, though, a 90-ish point deficit is not something you want to see on P4 of the first rotation.
Yeah, definitely not the plan going into it. You didn't really expect to have only 30 points going into P4, but they're getting some good time here. They did break their way in. They didn't start with those spawns. They're going to collect the decent time there. I mean, almost quadrupled their score from the P3 to the P4. So you do get some good time. Now you got to find some kills on this rotation. Makashi, he's over towards his mid-cut, trying to find something. He knows what these Toronto players are going to be over here. He's got at least some information. Eric's going to find a kill over the top. Makashi going to go huge towards that top green, but Eric eventually there to shut him down. So, not quite going to get the kills on the rotation if you're Maui, but you do have Smalls here in this back. Toronto going to start with the time once again on this P5. Eric towards his back truck, just on that egg glitch. You're not going to cut him down. He falls. Monkey gets a kill with the nade. Makashai gets another kill. Monkey eventually falls, but that's 3 kills in the feed for Maui, and well, they break their way on. They have 50 points. They're starting to crawl back, and well, there's some kills rolling in the feed. You've got them spawning out, so some stuff looking up now for Maui as they're trying to hold some good time here.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the position that Maui is in right now, you pretty much have to just kind of take it one hill at a time. And that is what they appear to be doing. They have some good time here, and the trades come through in a way that leaves one Maui player on the point pretty much at all times so far. And the good news if you're Maui is the next point is literally within viewing distance. So you can chain them. You do have Toronto all over that point, but hey, P1 in the middle of the map means you can at least make it mixy, at least make this hill very contestable. You do have a player in Ace on Toronto on point, but they go down, and now Maui is all over it. Maui is now warmed up, and those guns are firing now, ladies and gentlemen. Maui is in the game, and they want to give us a series. A 90-point deficit becomes a 40-point deficit, and now this map is a whole lot more interesting.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it took just a few hills for them to go down by a lot, and well, it took just a few for them to make the comeback. Eric gets a big two-piece, but 2 kills gonna follow up. Ace with the one-on-one on the hill, he's gonna get that. So, scrap time gonna go the way of Toronto. That's kind of what you want to do. You know, you started off hot, you kind of slow down a little bit if you're Toronto, but you got Monkey on 23 and 12 on the Maui side, just willing his team right now to victory. On the rotation, though, Tragic, he gets a big kill. So rotations again in the hands of Toronto. This is what they've been doing well all game so far. They have at least been on top of these rotations, but Maui's break, I mean, they've been able to break in. They've been able to push from all sides and get it. Oric's going to find the opening kill. Trades rolling in. Good for the side of Toronto. They're going to hold this time for now. These players from Maui trying to go through this shop side, trying to pinch through the middle, but Tragic and Co shut that down quickly. So, a good hold here now for Toronto as the lead's growing to 60 points here.
Yeah, I mean, the lead is growing a little bit now, but I really wish we had like that hardpoint graph that they show on the CDL screens, because I feel like Toronto's points has just kind of been like a straight line for like the past 3 or so hills. But I mean, hey, they did get some point, they did extend the deficit, or at least their lead a little bit. But I think Maui is well and truly in the game now, and those 165 points that Toronto has so far, the next 165 are going to be harder to get. We have P3 spawning here. We have Maui all over it. Or sorry, we have Toronto all over it, and Maui figuring out how they want to get onto it. You see them holding back. They are coordinating a team push here, but they did not plan on 2 of their players going down at the hands of Eric. Now Maui, you see them scrambling again, kind of like going together, but Toronto, they just have the sight lines. And now in even worse news, you have monkeys spawning on the spawns that you're not going to want for new. You have Eric, who's hot off his streak of killing some Maui members, spawning there, getting back onto the hill, and now P4. It looks like it's going to be Toronto from the get-go. Maui, just as we're about to gas them up, that 90-point lead looks like it's going to be coming back here in a few seconds or so. Maui will get scrapped, but Toronto, P4, appears to be theirs, at least for now.
At least for now, you know, the comeback that Maui had, it started on this P4. They got about 45 seconds on this last P4, so this is where that momentum kind of shifted on that first rotation. So maybe that's what we're going to see here on the second, but 3 down in the feed is not what you're going to want. Monkey now the only one not up off spawn towards his front. Just going to wait for his teammates, trying to find some kills. Couple trades rolling in. Tragic with a big 2-piece. Eric going to get one as well. So push again. Shut down for the side of Maui, but Makashi, he's going to get one on towards that hill. Pause the time for a moment, but trades are good again for Toronto. 30 seconds left for the victory if you're Toronto. Maui, you just got to rotate now. You know you can come back at least a little bit. You do have these spawns towards the back still if you're Toronto, so maybe Maui might want to chuck up at least a little bit of this time, but I mean, Toronto, they can just win it off scrap time if they so please at this point. Monkey with the last chow onto P5, or P4, sorry, not going to find it. On rotations again is Ace towards this backside. These Maui players have no idea that he is here, and well, he might just call game.
Yeah, I feel like Maui, like the hills that they haven't been performing on, they really lost the spawn game, and I think Toronto knows that, and you see them, rotating a little bit early and securing spawns down, and
The
now
long
we
kill
see,
streak.
yeah, I mean, see the kill streak almost come in, doesn't quite come in.
It was the strategic bomber.
Yeah, the street, maybe, yeah, I don't know. Does this ping the map? Maybe. Oh my god. Well, that's a hellstorm. That is the correct kill streak, and wow. I mean, Ace just gets an ace. The bad news is half of that ace is on his own team, but it doesn't look like it's gonna matter. Toronto just needs 2 more points, and Maui still fighting to extend the game in any way they can, but Toronto, they are gonna close it out here after all.
They close it out in convincing fashion. It got a little bit shaky You know, you went up to on a quite a jump of a lead at the start there for Toronto, kind of gave up a little bit of that lead towards the middle, towards that second rotation, but it didn't matter. You know, they locked it in. Maui, you saw some signs of life there. Monkey, he went 31 and 24. So listen, you saw some life there if you're Maui. I know the scoreboard might not reflect it. I'm pretty sure it
Yeah.
is
Okay,
it is
it'll be
fixed
fixed
on
on
stream.
stream.
Yeah, it
Cool.
is fixed
So
on stream.
we'll do our best here, but it looks like Maui is starting out on the offensive side. It's not going so well for them. They get first blooded. Orcs goes down. And now Maui is figuring out how to get this bomb. But I mean, Toronto is all over the bomb. And yeah, I mean, the gunfights come through. Maui's down to one player. Um, I mean, the good news is like maybe Toronto is kind of like stepped off the bomb, but man, if you're Makashi, you have a lot of work to do here.
Yeah, a lot of work to do. I mean, you can just win the trade battle if you're Toronto. They do have these players on this A side. Bomb is down, so he's gonna get it in hand. Gonna try and work this over towards this B side. So good reads out of him to recognize that these Toronto players are set up towards A, but they're gonna get on the move here. Six gonna start working his way through spawn. 22 seconds remaining. You know he's gonna have to plant at some point. So you will soon realize with the bomb going down that they're gonna flock over to this side, but they are gonna separate a little bit. If Makashi can catch a timing here, he can get a big first kill. He tries to find it, but Eric just says not today. A hop, skip, and a jump off the middle shuts him down, and well, the defuse going to come in rather quickly and rather easily. The trades, first blood into the trades, working for Toronto as they take the momentum and get that first round in the search and destroy.
Yep, absolutely. Toronto chaining momentum, chaining. I guess like just good Call of Duty playing from one map into the next. But I mean, hey, look, a defensive win, not that impressive. Let's see what they could do in offense here. But Maui is going to want to respond in any way they can. We see Toronto maybe opting for a little bit of an A push here, but I mean, the grenades are already exploding, and a kill onto Ace on the side of Toronto will open things up here just a little bit. Now we have a response from Eric. It's a 3v3. It's a 2v2. And both these teams are just going at it.
Yeah, they're going at it. Trades just going in left and right. Smalls does have the sniper rifle. Not sure if any Toronto players have it either. He tries to get a kill. Close on the quick scope, but no aim assist. Not going to go your way. You know this player here. He's going to challenge. Tries to go for the quick scope again. Can't find it. He does get out with his life, though, so still a 2 versus 2. Bomb is down. Bomb is going to be planted towards this A site for Toronto. These Maui players not on this site. Again, another retake gonna have to come in. 2v2. Looking like they're just gonna push this through mid together. But the retake has to come through and has to come quick.
Yeah, the retake has to come through. You do see Smalls pulling out the sniper, trying to get a clip for the montage, but finding nothing so far. Meanwhile, time is dwindling for Maui to pull this one out. 20 seconds left. Remember, you're going to need 7.5 of them just for the defusal. So you got to go. Smalls will see coast through the window, but not able to land any shots. And Tragic maybe putting Maui's hopes down permanently to get this round. Toronto gets 2 in a row. Smalls is just going for the kills. Takes one more attempt at that clip for the montage, but will not get it. Toronto is up 2-0 in the map and looking good so far throughout the series.
Looking good. You know, they play that bomb site. They play time to perfection. You do drop a player, but I mean, who cares? You get the round win. You play the bomb site. You play search and destroy to perfection. You don't need to be, it's a 2v2. Who cares? Just get the bomb down. Playing these critty corners. The Maui side just taking a little bit too long on the retake. And well, they dropped that round as well. And well, bad news again. You're on the offensive side. Looking like they're going to favor B. Going to send 3 players over here. The last one slowly going to wrap his way around after not finding anything towards mid. But information and shots are already here. Monkey towards that top bed. Coast, he gets cut down. Had one too many drinks in that tiki bar. He will fall. First blood going to go the way of Maui. That's a good sign. Oryx trying to mantle his way up. He is going to get it. So sight control in their hands. Looking to try and get this bomb down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. Those poolside bars, they can get you sometimes. But I mean, look, Maui looking to capitalize on this man advantage, which no longer exists. Maui, in the blink of an eye, is now only down to one member. You have Oryx going for a dive, but I mean, unless he is an aquatic animal, he's gonna need to come up to the surface. Comes up just in time to get a kill on Eric, but gets caught heading for a drink, and the diffuse will come through, and that'll be the third in a row for Toronto. Maui is going to need to figure out how to put something together on this map. Going to need to adapt to what Toronto is showing them, because right now, Maui is looking like they're in trouble.
Yeah, in a little bit of trouble. You know, you got that first blood out of Monkey towards the Tiki side, and you did get the bomb down, and just a retake for Toronto, just coming in quick, coming in hot. You got to win your ones. Search and Destroy starts with winning your ones, winning those trade battles, and well, they haven't done it so far. Toronto on the offensive side looking to continue momentum. They're on 3 rounds in a row. Maui just trying to find something, trying to get something going. A sniper shot comes in, but no kill going to be found. Tragic watching this backside, but sight control immediately. Bomb going to be planted on B. The Maui defense, sorry, not ready for it. So retake going to have to come in quick. First blood going to go their way. More trades going to come in. Makashi gets a 2-piece, but trades even into a 2 versus 2. Tragic and Eric both kind of just back towards his back bed, just going to play time on this bomb site. Makashi now the last man standing for the side of Maui. 26 seconds remaining on this bomb. They have the information. He's got no time. He's got no help. He's got to try and just get something going, but as soon as he peeks, he's just catching shots left and right. Oh, Eric falls off the map. So now into a 1 versus 1. That changes things completely, but there's 10 seconds left. Tragic just going to play time. He's going to get the kill, and Toronto get their 4th round in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what happened to Eric there. Maybe taking a little bit of a dive, not in the pool, but into the ocean down below. But Tragic manages to get it done nonetheless. I mean, yeah, I mean, that situation is so tough, but I mean, when you get gifted a player, mistakes for mating, I think you really have to push that. I think some of the trouble Maui's finding themselves in is they are like really running out of time. Um, when they need to get a diffuse, it might just come down to maybe needing a more aggressive play style out of them. That being said, though, Toronto has been having their number in the kill feed. So, I mean, look, it's not a great situation for Maui. You might start to be thinking about the next map. It is a best of 7. You still have at least a guarantee 2 more maps to go, but as these teams set up, Maui will once again get first blooded, and Toronto, now up 2 lives in the count, looking to get their 5th win in a row in this S&D.
I mean, they're just completely dominating. Oryx eventually going to find a trade, so that makes it a little bit easier for you. Into a 2 versus 3, you do still have the bomb in hand as well. Looking like they're going to have A control, but Ace in the back, he's going to find a kill. Oryx there for the trade, so now he's the last man standing. These players for Toronto know exactly where he is. Shot's going to start to ring out. He does have to get this bomb down. He does have it in hand, but 23 seconds remaining. Toronto knows he has to get it planted, and they're just going to flock to him like some hungry birds trying to eat some chum from the ocean. And, well, that's exactly what they do. 5 in a row for Toronto. Maui can't find anything, can't get anything going, but Toronto now on match point.
The bird expert himself explaining how birds work. Mr. Turkey, thank you for your expertise. Yeah,
You
I
are so
mean,
welcome.
5 in a row for Toronto. Yeah, I mean, listen, going back to that last one, I mean, when you have 18 seconds left on the clock and you don't have the time to wrap around to the B bomb site, and then they see that you're trying to plant at A, it's like it's done. It's like you either go for the double kill, which is already hard enough, or you just kind of let the chips fall where they may. But hey, we're in a new round, and Maui will get the first blood, but they trade 2 players in response, make that down to 3. They trade 3 players, make that down to 1 player remaining. The bomb is playing on Toronto, and it's looking less and less likely that Monkey's going to be able to pull this one out. And yeah, Toronto just 6-0 is the raid S&D. Brings us to a map 3 very quickly, and really, really shutting down any doubts about their ability to maybe carry this series. Bear with us here. Anyway, we have a first blood coming out of Toronto. And Toronto pretty much dominating the kill feed so far, and Toronto looking like they're gonna get a first point with only 23 seconds in the match. Not looking good for Maui, if I'm gonna be honest with you. But Toronto, their dominance is unmatched right now.
Yeah, that's kind of like a little reverse flea flicker trick play with the first play of the game after kickoff that kind of you've been rehearsing. I mean, you don't score in the first 23 seconds without rehearsing something like that. So they're up 1-0 already, but it's early. It's still early. These Maui Chums, they got to show some fight here if they want to push any sort of momentum back in the faces of these Toronto players. But the feed going to light up Toronto. Device going to spawn over towards this bottom P3 area. The kill feed still lighting up blue. Or lighting up blue, but it is Toronto. Lighting up white for Toronto. Tragic and Eric again going to find some kills. Device starting to get pushed forward. Kill's going to come in, though. Oryx with a big kill onto Eric to shut that push down. So some good defense out of the side of Maui. Oryx with some big couple kills towards that middle cut side. Now going to rotate over this towards this B site. These Toronto players now forced to rotate. Tragic going to find a big 2 kills, but the device carrier trying to finagle and juke his way towards into B, but he will fall. So defense good for both sides so far with the device in the hand of these Toronto players.
Yeah, that was a brutal shutdown of that run from Maui. It looked like they were maybe going to be able to get it, but just not enough team support to get it over to the overload zone. Now, we have the MP kind of chilling in the middle of the map here. Both teams obviously fighting for it, but it actually despawns and goes on the other side of the map. You do have some Toronto players getting killed out and back to their spawn, but I'm not convinced Maui is rotating quick enough to be able to snag it from them. At least you have Toronto setting up to maybe catch some sightlines if they decide to just run it into the enemy spawn. But I say that, and Maui has gotten 3 in the kill feed, and I mean, this is their opportunity. You have to pay attention to this number 4 in Tragic, not able to catch him out in time, and he takes down the bomb carrier before the overload zone is reached. Once again, Maui is just coming so close to getting captured, but just not able to do it yet.
Yeah, not able to do it. The counterattack now on for Toronto, trying to push this forward. Makashi towards the backside on the defense, but these players for Toronto are going to start forming and falling around him. And, well, they find a couple kills. They get the device, and they score it. So 2-0 lead now for Toronto. Got 2 minutes left in this first half. Device going to spawn over towards this P2. You have these Maui players here. They're ready for it, but they got to find some kills towards this backside with Toronto flooding through this backside. Smalls, he can't find the kill. Pistol kills, John Wick style, coming in for Toronto. Kills still rolling through the feed. The push, the counterattack now on. Eric, the front man, he gets shut down after finding a kill. Trade's good for Maui for now, but no. Pressure just enough. The delay just enough. Another score comes in for Toronto. 3-0 off the rip in this first half with a little over a minute remaining.
Yeah, little over a minute remaining. The score line does look a little bit like murder for Maui, but I mean, listen, the kill feed, not so much. I mean, you do have some players kind of contending and responding to kind of the gunfire that Toronto is putting out. But again, you're still dealing with Tragic, who is 20-9. That is insane. This guy is on one tonight. I don't know what he chugged before logging on, but he is absolutely taking over. A lot of kills going back and forth between the two teams, but not a lot of movement coming out from the bomb as it is back into its resting place. P1 mid-map. Listen, if you're Toronto and you're up 3-0 in the scoreline, 30 seconds left in the half, I mean, maybe you just kind of make sure nobody's able to touch the bomb. I mean, yeah, I mean, Toronto just doing such a good job. And there you go, 3 out of Eric. Maybe they're going to go for it after all. Yeah, they're gonna pick it up and maybe go for this B zone one hit. You see them playing so disciplined, just waiting for the team support to come through, and there you go. That's the half. Man, Toronto has been impressive all night, but I mean, 4-0, they're they're moving like a well-oiled machine.
They are definitely moving like a well-oiled machine. I mean, it's just working to perfection. I mean, there's no holes in anything. There's no critique that I can give right now to these Toronto side, but look, you got to show some fight if you're the side of Maui. This is a team that is capable of it. This is a team that can do it. It is 4-0. Comebacks are a little bit difficult now that Toronto is technically on the preferred side, if you will. Not really too much of a preferred side with that A side getting moved back, or sorry, that B side getting moved around over towards the other side, but who cares? Tragic on 24 and 12. I just looked up at that. I mean, it's hard to do anything when you got a player doing that. And well, he opens with 2 kills at the start of this second half. Device going to spawn towards this middle area. Pressure and map control already in the hands of Toronto. 3 kills going to roll in the feed. Lighten up for Toronto. Looking to get an early score again in the first 30 seconds, and that's exactly what they're going to do. 5-0 for Toronto now. Kills finally going to come in, get these players out of their spawn at the very least, but an early score in the second half, given up again. Monkey towards this middle area, trying to get some kills, trying to get some pressure. Trades kind of rolling in and out. Good for the side of Toronto. Device going to be in the hand of Maui for now, but defense there, no front man in hand. Tragic with a big 2-piece shuts that down. So 4 minutes remaining in this half. Bomb again, or sorry, Device again picked up in the hands of Toronto.
Yeah, picked up in the hands of Toronto, but now on the ground once again. You do see Toronto members hovering around it. Again, at this point, like every second that counts down is good for you. I mean, like if you're on the side of Maui, you have 5 goals to get, and like with between like the bombs spawning, like I think it's 10 seconds, like you have to move, and you certainly can't let Toronto get any more scores, which they just did. They're making Overload look easy. Maui is struggling in every sense of the word to craft a response to what is happening on the map. But again, I think Toronto is just going to push this scoreline as high as it could go just for funsies. That bomb is back in the middle of the map, but I mean, between like even cutting out the travel time from the bomb spawn to the zone, you have 70 seconds just in spawning time. And there you go. Toronto gets their 8th score before Maui can get their first.
Yeah, I mean, they picked Scar for map number 1, and well, I'm pretty sure they picked this map as well, and I can see why they like Scar. They just dominate. I mean, 34 and 60. That was an 8-0. They didn't even play an entire 2 halves of Overload, and Tragic went 34 and 16.
Welcome back. That wasn't too long of a commercial break, but here we are, Blackheart. We're already into it. Lots of dead bodies on the map already, but you see Toronto and Maui just circling each other into this around this P1, playing Ring Around the Rosie, and yet only 3 seconds of hardpoint time scored so far. Unsurprisingly, Toronto is in the lead, but Maui, they are here to play, and let's see what they could do on this map number 4, Blackheart Hardpoint.
Yeah, they finally break their way on at least a little bit, but time contested. Time looking like the scrap's going to go the way of Maui. It's going to be virtually a tie game. Once they would collect the scrap time, forget what I just said. Basically a tie game going into this P2. No one really able to find too much time, but on the rotations is Toronto. 2 kills on rotation going to go their way. All the players from Maui going to be spawning out. 5's going to try and hit up towards P3. Looking like they're going to just try and spread push this. You know, there's only so many avenues you can push from. Monkey with a big opening kill onto Eric. Front pressure now on for the side of Maui. These Toronto players going to have to turn around. The player on the hill trying to fight for his life. He finds a kill. His 2 teammates cover up around him in the push. Shut down from the front. All the Maui players now spawning out towards P5. They're going to all push this towards this time. 30 seconds remaining on this hill. Looking like going to be the last push. Tragic able to find one. Ace able to find two. Monkey and Makashi able to find two as well. So last player towards this time is Makashi. He finds another big kill with the pistol. Oryx there on the cleanup. So scrap time going to go their way. Spawning in the back is Monkey. So rotation's also in order, but Eric there to shut that down.
Yeah, listen, I'm seeing a lot of small mistakes out of Maui that might just kind of be adding up over time. Like, I think I saw, like, a lot of Maui members on a P2 just funnel right into that front entrance. Like, nobody's even trying to make a flank play, and that could be troublesome when you're up against a team like Toronto. You also had, like, 2 players getting scrap time with 5 seconds left and one of them just not even bothering to go to the next point. I think if you're Maui, you got to step up the strategic game a little bit too. And also, obviously, the gunfighting ability as well. That being said, I mean, they're doing way better in this hard point than they did the first one at this point in it. So we'll see what they can do. But they are hanging with Toronto so far. So we'll see how the rest of the map plays out. But God, I really want to make it to a map 5.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot to push it there, but it is a decent start. I got a good clean forward out on that P3, but over towards P4. Rotation kills again, going to go the way in the hands of Toronto. Small's able to find a kill. Eric with the nade. Kobe onto Monkey. He gets that kill. So, players spawning out for Maui. Towards his front side, the pressure coming on. Trades in the feed. 2-2 split in the feed, so pressure not going to be towards this front. They're going to finally jump in for Maui. Monkey with the opening kill. Coast there for the trade. Monkey finds a second. Trades in the feed. Trades good for the side of Maui for now. But time still contested. 5 now, the last man standing for Maui towards the time. Eric with a big 2-piece. Time again. Still contested. Back and forth. Back and forth. The seesaw goes. No one able to find too much time, but Toronto still with a 40-point lead with about 20 seconds remaining on this hill.
Yeah, I mean, you got 15 seconds left, but the Sharks of Maui are circling it, and they will look like they are getting that scrap time. Or not, they choose to leave it behind again. And now we have Toronto set up on that P5 and just getting Maui as they see them. If you're Maui now, you kind of are stacked up on this lane on the map, but you have your nemesis, your nightmare, Tragic, just shooting them down. Makashi able to enter and get some control of the hill, which will let his team kind of take it over. I didn't notice, but they did get that spawn flip come through. That is definitely good news for them, especially with P1 being so close. You see Toronto kind of in a defensive, risk-averse situation now as that Hellstorm comes down, but it gets equal points, Toronto members, as it does Maui members. And still, this is a pretty much tie game, but I mean, a better performance for sure from Maui this time around. We'll see if they can close this deficit, take the lead, and carry it through.
Yeah, a little under a 10-point lead for Toronto. So good start, pretty even in this the score line so far, but 3 in the feed off the start. The opening kills for Toronto just on the opening kills on these hills are just going their way. I mean, they're finding the kills on rotation. They find a quick 3 dead, and Maui's supposed to, I mean, they're just forced into playing pickup. They got to pick up. They got to play catch up. They got to break their way onto the hill, and well, you can't always rely on your breaks, especially on a map like Blackheart. You can get away with a little bit. You know, it is a close quarters map, but Toronto finding good time again on this P1. 30 seconds left on this hill. They're still on this time. They also have the spawns for P2 if they so please. Coast and Tragic going to find 2 kills in the feed. So these Maui players forced back. You know, they're kind of just pinned back right now. They got to try and find something. Try and find a little bit of a rotation. But the feed lighting up for the side of Toronto right now. Smalls in 7. He's just going to try and work his way through P4. All these Toronto players not looking his direction. He's going to have to find some big kills with his teammates falling around him. Ace with a 2-piece. He does find a kill onto Eric, but Coast there for the trade. So spawns, the flankers secured and shut down. So these players from Maui all spawning out. Maui, lead starting to grow, is over 60 points now.
Yeah, I mean, look, the big problem here for Maui is the same that was the big problem map number 1 too. I mean, besides the gunplay. It is that you're getting beat on the rotation. I mean, Maui is there to start, and it's been all Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Toronto was there to start. As I was talking to Maui has taken it over. And now you do have a response, kind of Toronto coming in through the front. They just kind of outnumber Maui there and take the hill back. But you see, like, Maui is just trying to figure out how to get back into it. And too little, too late. Only 10 seconds left in the hill. Good news if you're Maui. You do have spawns for the next one. So finally, maybe a little bit of an easier start here. But I mean, you're going to have to deal with a lot of Toronto members coming from a lot of different directions, coming through P1 and just coming through the front of the hill. And there you go. 2 members of Maui goes down. And yeah, it just makes it that much harder to defend against the kind of full frontal assault that you're dealing with. Maui completely pushed out. They're all coming up the same lane once again. And yeah, I mean, you see at least a contest coming through. But we'll see. I mean, Toronto's still spawning there. This could go back and forth anyway, but even Toronto just spawning there, having the advantage, having the reinforcements. And yeah, I mean, at the very least, Toronto's able to keep the hill contested. It's still an 85-point game. If you're Maui, the case for you winning this map is dwindling just a little bit.
The door is starting to close. It's not quite gonna get. It's not getting slammed in your face, but it's slowly getting closed. And well, there's Eric on the backside with a big 2-piece to get those spawns, and the time for his team make it 3. Oh my lord! All these players for Toronto or Maui trying to funnel their way through this backside. Eric just playing his life to perfection. He finally gets shut down. 2 kills gonna roll on the feed, make it 3 down in the feed. So Maui gonna find themselves on this time, but the Toronto coast, he gets a couple kills. The Toronto pressure just unrelenting towards these hills. The opening kills again going their way. Eric with a 2-piece, making a 3-piece. The only player gonna fall is at the hands of a team kill. 25 seconds left for the victory. Eric on a 3-piece, trying to shut these players down from the front. He finds one. He finds a second. Players now spawning out for Maui, and well, Eric, I think he just about called game.
Yeah, the whistle is definitely being blown right now. I mean, now it's just, they're just showing off for the stream. But I mean, there's no Maui players near the hill. They're not even spawning anywhere close to it. They're spawning in Narnia. A great spawn trap out of Toronto, just kind of playing with their food there. A great series out of Toronto, too. I mean, this is one of those series that, like, I mean, what commentary can you give? I think, like, Toronto was just succeeding in everything they were doing. Gunplay, strategy. Maui, I don't know what happened. Maybe just a bad night, but regardless, I mean, Toronto really showed us something.